Buddha, Confucius, Lao Tzu, and Guru Nanak. And he explained how the teachings converge into true Islam. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community is the leading Islamic organization to categorically reject terrorism. Over a century ago, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, peace be on him, emphatically declared that jihad by the sword has no place. He instead taught Muslims to follow the Quran and Prophet Muhammad's example. Accordingly, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, peace be upon him, penned over 80 books and tens of thousands of letters, delivered hundreds of lectures, and engaged in scores of public debates. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community continues to use education to peacefully reform Muslims and revive Islam worldwide. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad reminded Muslims of God's promise to safeguard Islam through Khilafat, that is the spiritual institution of successorship to prophethood. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community believes that only Islamic Khilafat can peacefully unite humanity. 5 Khalifas have succeeded Mirza Ghulam Ahmad since his demise. The current Khalifa, Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper, resides in the United Kingdom and serves as the community's spiritual and administrative head under the leadership of Khilafat. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community has built over 16,000 mosques, 600 schools, and 30 hospitals worldwide. It has translated the Holy Quran into over 70 languages. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community propagates Islam's true teachings of peace and tolerance through a 24-hour satellite television channel, that is Muslim Television Ahmadiyya, through the internet, www.alislam.org, and print Islam International publications. It stands at the forefront of disaster relief worldwide through Humanity First, which is a non-profit charity. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community is the only Islamic organization to endorse the separation of mosque and state. Despite facing bitter faith-based persecution in numerous Muslim-majority nations, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community continues to advocate for universal human rights for all religious and other persecuted minorities. It likewise invests heavily in women's equality, education, and empowerment programs. Its members are among the most law-abiding, educated, and engaged Muslims in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's upon that background and foundation that we are here this afternoon to exchange ideas on a theme of bringing communities together for the cause of peace. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community has existed in Uganda for the last over 80 years. The programs I've talked about are duplicated even here we have schools, we have hospitals, we have Humanity First, carrying on with different programs, just like we have been seeing around. I want to welcome you all, and having captured the gist of who the Ahmadiyya Muslims are, what they are in Uganda, we want to proceed with our program, and that is all right. Our next program is having speeches from our distinguished guests, and every one of us. We want to appreciate you for sparing your time to come and attend this symposium at a rightful moment. We shall be recognizing the different guests that have made it here. At this moment, I want to start by inviting Honorable Sempala Chigozi Emmanuel Sajaliabene. Honorable Sempala is a former member of parliament for Machindi Savagabo municipality and is currently vying for the seat of the chairperson, LC5, Wakiso district. I don't know if I put it right. He's a member of the governing council, Mutesa One Royal University. He's also a member of the Red Cross National Board in Uganda. He's the director, founding director, and principal of Aidan College in Indeji. Honorable Sajaliabene Sempala Chigozi is a very good friend of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. This is not the first time we are having him around in our conferences. We want to thank you very exceedingly for always sparing time to be our friend. Honorable, you are very much welcome. Kindly come and have a word to the audience.
I'd like to thank you so much for the opportunity to say something. But I was whispering with to him that when I got the invitation, I actually asked what was the expectation of the conference from me. And they told me, just come. So I'm here, and just in case I don't say what you expect, kindly excuse me. And if I go beyond your expectations, still excuse me. I've been introduced, and I just have, I think, two things. One, he says that I've been part and parcel of this activity previously, but then maybe what he doesn't know is that on several occasions when I am in London, I also visit your headquarters, that big mosque, very impressive. And I've had a chance to be shown around your infrastructure, and I would like to say very openly and clearly that whatever has been said in the preamble, and maybe all those other things that I don't know, are very true. The community is very in for fair living for everybody, irrespective of religion, tribe, color, and all those things that make a difference in life. Lastly, I would like to also assert that I have dealt with them on a few occasions to help people. And I would like to state it clearly here that when they are analyzing the people they are going to help, when they are making decisions, religion, tribe, and those social issues that make people bad are not part of the questionnaire. So I would like to sincerely thank you so much. And if I'd been given a chance to dig deeper into my archive, maybe I would have taken a little bit more time. I would have said a little more. And my being here is also enough reason to believe that I know, as a staunch Catholic, just like the Monsignor would attest, very strong. And I would like to mention briefly that I was also in the seminary, and maybe if I'd gone through, maybe he would not be here, I would be there. I am really happy that we have this congregation in Uganda, and I pray and hope that we keep doing the good, and we shall definitely support you. Hopefully I'll go through to the chairperson LC5, and if I do, be sure that you'll be near my office. Thank you so much for listening. All the best.
Thank you so much to the Honorable Sempala Chigozi, Sajali Abene. Our next guest speaker is going to be Reverend Canon Sache Zach Kalimi. He's from the Anglican Church, the Worldwide Anglican Church, and is a provincial secretary in Uganda. Reverend Canon Sache is also a lecturer in Trinity Theological College. He's a good friend of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, and I want to welcome him to come and say a word to this audience. You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Your Eminency, distinguished guests, my name has been mentioned. I bring warm greetings in the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate. I am deeply honored to join you today at this 11th National Peace Peace Symposium. I thank our brothers and sisters from the Ahmadiyya faith for organizing this important gathering and for inviting people of our faith to reflect on our shared calling to be builders of peace. Whether we are Christian, Muslim, or from any other faith tradition, we are united by a sacred duty to uphold the dignity of every human being, to defend the vulnerable, and to seek peace in our families, our communities, and our world. As a Christian priest, I am reminded of the words of Jesus, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." And I know that in the Holy Quran, Allah says in Surah Al-Furqan, chapter 25, verse 63, which I quote, "And the servants of the Most Merciful are those religious leaders must not only preach peace, not silence in the face of injustice. Peace begins with respect. When we listen to one another, learn from one another, and honor the difference that enrich our world. We may not all worship in the same way, but we all seek truth, mercy, and justice. Let us work together across faith, not just in dialogue, but in action. We must take a firm and united stand against all forms of violence, extremism, and hate speech. These destructive forces divide the communities, fuel conflict, and threaten the foundation of peace and human dignity. It is our collective responsibility to reject them in our words, action, and policies by promoting dialogue, understanding, and mutual respect among all people. We should commit ourselves to promoting education, upholding human dignity, and creating opportunities for all individuals, regardless of background, status, or belief. Education empowers people with knowledge and critical thinking. Dignity affirms the value of every human life, and opportunity ensures that everyone has a fair chance to contribute to and benefit from a just and peaceful society. We should aim at raising a generation that chooses compassion over conflict, a generation that sees empathy, kindness, and cooperation not as weaknesses, but as the strongest foundations for lasting peace and unity. We must stop inciting divisions by trying to force others to become exactly like us, forcing people to adopt our religion, compelling them to worship the way we do, demanding that they speak Luganda forcibly, and they have to be slapped or beaten or battered without speaking Luganda, and pressurizing them to change their physical appearances, whether by bleaching or tanning. These sows chaos and conflict. True peace begins with respecting our differences and embracing diversity as a source of strength, not division. May the Almighty, known by many names, but one in mercy, guide our hearts towards understanding, our words towards kindness, and our hands towards building a world where every child grows up in peace. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Canon Isache from the Anglican Church. Our next guest speaker shall be Dr. Kamonges Wahab Asad. Dr. Wahab has been a very good friend of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. He has interacted with us for the past couple of years. He has been of help to us in managing some issues regarding education where we have had problems. Dr. Wahab, you're very much welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All the members in your respective capacities, I have already been introduced. I would like to begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of life and for all the favors He has bestowed onto us. And we shall always keep praying to Him to bless us and to continue giving us the gift of life. I would like to begin by appreciating the organizers of the National Peace Symposium for this academic year. This National Peace Symposium to attend under the organization of Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association. I would like to use this opportunity to most sincerely appreciate the organization of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community in Uganda for the role they have continuously played to ensure beings deserve what
So I taught ethics to the medical students, to science-based students in maths, because maths, as most of you know, is a science-based university. But I and the current chairperson for National Planning Authority of Uganda, we began a faculty of government studies, which my son here, whom I met, has been telling me what it. So I left. So we had a lot to talk. And I didn't know about Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. All I knew was the mosque in Wandegeya, but I didn't know what they do. And since I became the director for religious affairs in this country, I have never interacted with any leader from the Ahmadiyya group. I've interacted with the Kibuli group, the Muslim group in Kibuli. I've interacted with Old Kampala Muslim group and the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. But for the first time, this is my first time, and yet, if you're not aware, and my witness is the Minister of Public Service, your home is in my office, if you're not aware. So you better come and we interact and we rub shoulders. And you are lucky now that the minister told me to come here and represent her, so that at least you know where we sit. And that is Social Security House on Ginger Road, former Odium House. Floor 1 and 2 is occupied by the Directorate for Ethics and Integrity, which is in the Office of the President. It's not a ministry. Most of you think that Ethics and Integrity is a ministry. It is a directorate, but because of its huge mandate, we have a minister who plays an oversight responsibility as a political head and a permanent secretary. Actually, it's a unique directorate, because if you have a permanent secretary and a minister, that qualifies to be a ministry. But it's a directorate within the Office of the President. So that's where we sit, and that is where the home for religious activities and operations exist. That's your home. One important thing that I've learned here, because I have been teaching religious leaders, and I always quote Frederick Douglass, who is a sociologist, professor, and he says, it is easier to build strong children, I quote verbatim, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. That's a powerful statement. And countries who have concentrated in building strong children, if you can't talk of corruption in that country or immorality. So countries who have concentrated in building broken men or repairing broken men, because once you repair a broken man or woman, it's likely that he may break again or she may break again. So, but building strong children becomes very sustainable in every society, which means that it is the right time as a country to start with our families, and we nurture our children in the knowledge of fear of God, but also imparting values in them, so that at the end of the day, when they are in parliament, they shun corruption. That's how we can win the war against corruption. But also, if you are not aware, the youth who have begun this symposium, Uganda is the youngest country in the whole world. Statistics, if you are not aware. The youngest country in the whole world is Uganda. And therefore, when I see the youth organizing such a symposium, especially when you're talking of promoting peace, to me as an elder, I feel very happy and I'm excited, and I have a lesson to learn. Even when I go back to meet my minister, I'll be able to tell her that the Ahmadiyya group are very special. They are young people, because you see, the youth is a bridge between the past and the present, if you're not aware. And I think Winston Churchill, in his own wisdom, the former Prime Minister of Britain during World War II, who actually gave Uganda the power of Africa, his own name, Uganda the power of Africa, he said, and I quote, if you create a conflict between the past and the present, you are likely to lose the future. And I want to tell you that the youth are the bridge between the past and the present. And they are the ones now, therefore, who can create a situation not to lose the past, but also promoting what they want to see in future. Because the future belongs to you, sirs and madams who are here. The future belongs to you. And this country belongs to you. But you have to be very careful that as you want to capture the future and claim it so that you can be able to occupy space, you must have integrity, you must have character. And that is the most. And I think President Julius Nyerere, may his soul rest in eternal peace, he said, I quote, I am a scholar, by the way, for unless character is trained, that's Nyerere, acquiring knowledge alone would only prove injurious to society, end of quote. And I think you've seen the injury that people who have acquired knowledge and even getting first-class degrees in this country have caused. Let me give an example of engineers, because I think that is one of the best professions in this country. And if your son or your daughter becomes an engineer, you actually, you rejoice and celebrate. But some of these civil engineers, you tell him to construct a road from Jinja to Mukono, in 2 months, it is done. What do you think happens? And yet the quotations for that road construction are very clear. If it is 10,000 bags of cement, it is 10,000. So the accountability would be 10,000 bags of cement, but what goes on ground is about 500. And that is an engineer whom we have trained. So what is lacking? Integrity. What is lacking? Character. So unless, Julius Nyerere, unless character be trained, acquiring knowledge alone would prove injurious. That is not me. That is an elder. And actually whom I admire more. Because in 1985, when President Nyerere left power, I was actually watching BBC. And these are his words, and I quote verbatim. He said, I have been a leader in Tanzania for the last 30 years. If I'm given more 30 years, I cannot do what I have failed to do. End of quote. That's what he said. Those of you who watched him. So I want to thank this group, the youth, for organizing this wonderful symposium. I am tired. I would have loved to stay here longer and interact with many youth so that through Ahmadiyya Islamic community, I think we can become a bridge between the past and the present. And I liked your theme, bringing communities together for the purpose of peace. That's a powerful one. Because if people would come together, regardless of their background, I think this country would be at Mars. When I was born, I found my father was born again, a Mulokore, and in his sitting room, there was a statement, and I quote, very in line with what you have done here. Peace is not the absence of trouble. Peace is the presence of God. Mark that. Now, when I was looking here, I say, you see, what is written here, the first, peace, me, I was writing notes, by the way. When I entered here, I started writing notes on what I saw. So you can see the first one. Peace does not lie in power or wealth. Rather, peace lies in the cradle of God Almighty. That is powerful. Same statement that I found in the sitting room of my father. Peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God. May the Lord bless you. But I want to arm you with 3 things. Robert Putnam, you can even Google him. Putnam, Robert. He said, there are 3 ingredients that propel a society or a community. Now, Ahmadiyya community. 1, trust. 2, networks. 3, norms. And of course, when you talk of norms, then you are talking of values. So, if a country has no trust of one another, if there is mistrust, you cannot develop, whether you like it or not. And when you don't network, for instance, I want to tell you that we lack a lot of networking in this country. Even you find that what an MDA does, a ministry does, another one doesn't know. Like we were disseminating, Honorable Mururu Mukasa, we were actually in Kawari disseminating and empowering religious leaders with the National Ethical Value Policy, which was assented by His Excellency in 2013. I want you to imagine. 2013, this is 2025, 12 years down the road, the policy is not known in the country. And there is people even don't network, because if you are networking, you would actually go to websites of different entities and see what they do. And I think if you go to the website of the Directorate for Ethics and Integrity, of course one pronounced policy is the National Ethical Value Policy that imparts values. In other words, as a country called Uganda, we have a value system with 10 ethical values, but most Ugandans don't know. So networks and norms. So may the Lord be with you, and I'm waiting, looking forward, before I leave that office, to meeting the Ahmadiyya community so that I can ably introduce you to my minister and my permanent secretary, because that is what we do. Our work is to coordinate and monitor religious activities, but above all, majorly my mandate as a department is enhancing collaboration and partnership between religious institutions and government. May the Lord bless you.
Thank you so much. Reverend Canon Aaron Mwesji. A scholar and a cleric at the same time. Our Chief Executive Officer has taken note of your appeal of getting in touch with your office. He has a public relations department, and I believe he will do the needful. Ladies and gentlemen, just like you have observed our theme, we have brought communities together. So we have people across different communities. At this moment, allow me invite, we still have a couple of speakers before we proceed with our program. Sheikh Muhammad Murshid Ruwemba is the Secretary for Dawah, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. He has come here to represent His Excellency, the Mufti, His Eminence, the Mufti of Uganda, Dr. Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, from the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, specifically Old Kampala. Sheikh Muhammad Murshid Ruwemba, you are very much welcome.
بسم الله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق يظهره على الدين كله ولو كان المشركون وبعد. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, I'm here for representing His Eminence, the Mufti of Uganda, Dr. Sheikh Shaban Mubaje. The religious leaders present here, ministers, particularly Mr. Muludi Mukasa, who was a friend of my father, Sheikh Saad Ibrahim Ruwemba. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah says in the Holy Quran, in Surah Ma'idah, verse 2, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Allah says, and cooperate in righteousness and piety, but do not cooperate in sin and aggression. And fear God. Indeed, God is severe in penalty. Ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed guests, I'm standing before you, as I told, to represent the Mufti of Uganda. But today, we gather with a shared vision, a vision of peace, unity, and harmony. We come from different backgrounds, cultures, and faiths, but we are united in our pursuit of a common goal to build a community where everyone feels valued, respected, and supported. In a world where divisions and conflicts often dominate the headlines, it is easy to lose sight of our shared humanity. But all I can say to you, let's not give up on each other, and let's not give up on our communities. Let's create spaces where people from all walks of life can come together, share their ideas, and work towards a common goal. Thank you for honoring His Eminence, the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Mubaje, and invite. I remain Sheikh Muhammad Murshid Luwemba, Secretary for Dawah, and the heir of the late Mufti, Sheikh Saadi Ibrahim Luwemba. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, Sheikh Wemba, for that representation. At this moment, I want to recognize some of our distinguished guests who are with us this evening. We have Miss Nasuna Mariam, the manager this DFCU Bank. You can wave to the audience for recognition. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have the Honorable Member for Parliament of Machinde, the current Member of Parliament, Machinde Savagabo. We are sorry, time may not allow us to give you special time to speak to this audience, but you can wave to the audience. Honorable David Seru Kenya. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have a mosque in your constituency and quite a number of other projects. We are glad that you're always with us every time we extend our invitation to us. Thank you so much, Honorable David Serukenya. We have Mr. Sendagire Shafik, who is the procurement manager for Lancet Laboratories, wherever you are. Wave to the audience. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have Mr. Mulondo Emmanuel Kiza. Is leading a very big team from Kampala International University. I will request you to stand up with your team. The team from Kampala International University, please. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for coming. Yeah, there is no harm in that. Excess of good is good. You say salam and you reply it's good. Francis Impungu, Mr. Francis Impungu is a church elder from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Luwafo, wherever you are. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for coming. We also have Mr. Clive Yamukama from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, a very good friend of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. Mr. Yamukama Clive. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have Professor Joel Isavirien, he's the head of Department Journalism, Kampala International University. Thank you so much. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We also have our very own homeboy, Honorable Osman Chiinji, former member of Parliament for Gabla South, and is now the Deputy Chairperson, the Leadership Quality Tribunal. Formerly served in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We also have Mr. Solomon Chimuli from Diamond Trust Bank. He's a manager, wherever you are. Salam wa barakatuh. And Miss Caroline Atikongo, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrongly, also from, is it Trust Bank or DTB? DTB. Thank you so much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me proceed with our next guest speaker, and that is His Grace Charles Kasivante, who is representing the Archbishop of Kampala, Reverend Paul Semogerere. You're very much welcome from the Catholic Church.
Assalamu alaikum. I think I will correct our MC here. His Grace is the one I'm representing. I am Monsignor Charles Kasivante, and as Canon Aaron Mwesigwa said, former Vicar General of Kampala Archdiocese, the Catholic Archdiocese in town. His Grace, the Vice Reverend Paul Semogerere, is the Archbishop of Kampala, now 3 years, was invited to this occasion, but he had prior responsibilities. He's been in Namkongo with the young people to celebrate the Martyrs' Day, and marvelous pilgrimage for the youth, and he was not able to come. But his heart is with us, and he sent me to represent him. The Amir, the Chief Executive and missionary in charge of Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, Uganda, Muhammad Ali Kaire, Colonel Aaron Moswa, and Colonel Kisachi, the Honorable Minister of Public Service, Honorable Mululi Mukasa Wilson, the members of Parliament here present, and the former Member of Parliament, Sajali Abene. We also thank you for your presentation here. And other dignitaries that have been introduced here, and I can see one council from Inter-Religious Council of Uganda. He's over there. I think he's here to represent the Inter-Religious Council of Uganda. And we thank you for being here, and other dignitaries who are here. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the National Executive, religious leaders, esteemed guests, and friends, I bring you warm greetings in the name of our Lord, the God of peace, love, and unity. It is with great gratitude and humility that I stand before you today and sincerely thank you for the kind invitation to be part of this 11th National Peace Symposium. And I bring you warm greetings from His Grace, the Archbishop of Kampala, and Kampala Archdiocese as a whole. The theme, bringing communities together for the cause of peace, could not be more timely or more urgent. We live in a world, and more specifically in Uganda, that is crying out for peace. Peace in our families, peace in our communities, peace in our governance, peace in our economy, and peace in our hearts. We are all painfully aware of the tensions sometimes fueled by political, ethnic, or religious differences that threaten to tear our beautiful nation apart. As Cameron Messier said, the pearl of Africa that Churchill called this country. But we are also witnesses to the power of God to heal, to restore, and to unify. As people of faith, Christians, Muslims, and believers of goodwill, we worship a common God who is the source of peace. Though we may differ in doctrine, we are united in the moral and spiritual conviction that life is sacred and that justice is essential and that love for neighbor is non-negotiable. I am encouraged today by the example of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association, who are leading this symposium. You are demonstrating that young people are not only the future of Uganda, you are the present voice of reason, responsibility, and reconciliation. As your motto declares, MAJLIS Ahmadiyya cannot be reformed without the reform of the youth. This truth cuts across all religions and all cultures. Our communities, Christian, Muslim, and beyond, must move from mere tolerance to true collaboration. Tolerance says you may exist. Collaboration says we must work together. It is only when we work together, hand in hand, heart to heart, that we will forge a lasting peace. Therefore, I offer 3 appeals to all gathered here today. Let us build platforms for interfaith dialogue that are not occasional, but continuous. Dialogue must be a lifestyle, not an event. In our schools, our media, our places of worship, we must intentionally create space for mutual understanding. 2, let us confront and reject extremism and prejudice. In our words, in our pulpits, and in our homes, we must call out any ideology that distorts the face of God into an instrument of hate. Peace is not weakness. Peace is prophetic strength. 3, let us work together on concrete projects of peace, not just speaking peace, but doing peace, by supporting vulnerable families, protecting the environment, ensuring fair education, and advocating for the dignity of every person, especially the poor and the marginalized. In my conclusion, I call upon every youth, every elder, every leader present, let us be peacemakers, not just peace talkers. Let us be bridges, not barriers. Let us show the world that Ugandans of different faiths can live, work, and flourish together, not despite our differences, but because of our shared commitment to the common good and our reverence for the common God. May the Almighty bless this symposium and all its fruits. May He bless Uganda, may He bless our youth, and may He bless all efforts towards peace, unity, and justice. Assalamu alaikum. God bless you.
I'm very sorry, I messed up the titles, but it was not my liking. I think the people quoted you, mistook you for His Grace, the Archbishop of Kampala. Very sorry, profoundly. Allow me once again to recognize the distinguished guests who have made it to our symposium this evening. We have Dr. Katamba Maiko, who is the Country General Manager, Lancet Laboratories. Dr. Katamba, wherever you are. Where is he? He's moved out. And the entire group of Lancet, the entire team from Lancet, can you stand up for recognition, please? Our chief organizer works with the Lancet Laboratories, so we would love to see who has come and who has not come. Thank you so much for coming. We have Ms. Sasira Juliana, who is a legal assistant of the Inter-Religious Council, Uganda. Please. Thank you so much for coming. We have Engineer Kakemba Martin from Chambogo University, wherever you are. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for coming. We have Mr. Mugisha Hategeka from Islamic University in Uganda, Kampala campus. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for coming. At this moment, permit me invite our last guest speaker for today, and that shall be the Honorable Minister for Public Service, His he said strictly should be introduced by that title. He doesn't want anything more. The rest shall be spoken by himself. I got an order from above. Don't add on anything. I'm the Minister for Public Service. Honorable, you're very much welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. My Lord, the Amir of the Ahmadiyya mission, and our Lords spiritual who are here, honorable members of Parliament, distinguished guests, and all of you, the young people gathered here. I'm very happy to be here this evening. I was invited to attend the Youth Symposium, and I gladly accepted, just because I have had a very long relationship with the Ahmadiyya mission in Uganda, and I would like to acknowledge and pay tribute to the very wonderful work the mission is doing in the country in terms of uplifting the welfare of the communities in Uganda across all the religious divides. I was given a challenge that I was just invited as a guest, one of the guests, to come here and listen to what was going on. I was not given an indication as to whether I would have anything to say. But I'm glad that this chance has been given to me, and I'll be very brief. I'm Minister of Public Service of the Republic of Uganda, but also I'd like to add that I'm a trained graduate teacher of literature in English and other humanities. I think that will suffice. Dear colleagues, I would like to say that the theme for this symposium is indeed very, very important and apt at this time, because when we look at the status of Uganda today, and I'll just concentrate on Uganda, and we look at the communities that are there, there are different communities. And you recall that Uganda became Uganda in 1926 in February. Brought together by an external force led by the British. Before that, there were different countries with the, different ideologies, different political systems, different ways of doing things. And these countries did not have a common language. I quite agree that Uganda is not yet a nation as we understand a nation, but it is a nation in the making. It's a nation in the making, and it's going to become a nation with time, just like other countries have become nations with time. Time is very good. It will turn us into a nation. So 1926, different countries are brought together, really largely by force of arms, and they become one country now called Uganda. And of course, some of these countries had been in conflict for a very long time. They were speaking different languages, the customs were different. In many ways, there was really no common ground of forming a nation or calling Uganda a nation. But because the British were there by force of arms and because of what they were looking for, we became a country. They kept us together, bound together for as long as they remained. And we became Uganda. Now, over the years, more than almost coming to next year, I think we shall come to 100 years. We have accepted. We are all Ugandans now. And over time, the various differences and conflicts have gone. But this theme here, I think at this moment, is quite apt and necessary. We still have to struggle and bring ourselves together for the cause of peace. Yes. And this theme becomes very important because it is being sponsored and championed by the young people from different communities all over the country. So that's very important. Now when the young people get together and choose this as the theme and they stay here for all these hours and they listen and they really take everything seriously, that is a very good sign that actually Uganda is on the right path. Now, peace of course is important, we cannot argue about it, and it's one of the valuable things that we cherish, because with it we can go a long way. Without it, we can sink in a very deep pit. And we have had in our history very traumatic examples of lack of peace. And we do not want to go that way again. It's been very terrible. We don't want to go that way again, because really for more than maybe half of the time we've been independent, we have not had peace. And that has had a negative impact on our development, upward development. But suffice it to say that yes, the groundwork has been done. The Canon Aaron Mwesigye talked about a national value system. That is in place. It's not, it has not been widely propagated or known or communicated, but it's there. And it was accepted by cabinet and everybody and even parliament. So that's a very strong foundation. Once we have a common value system, regardless of whether we speak different languages. I may be speaking Lubara as my native language, somebody is speaking Luo, another one speaks Kinyarwanda, no matter. But once the value system is one, the Kinyarwanda word for that value system will give the same meaning as the Lubara word for that value system. And that makes a common thread and helps us to be united and to be one country. And this is really true. Look at the Europeans, they may be speaking different languages, Germans, even Russians, even all these other people, but they have one value system. And that makes them relate very easily. And therefore, and under that system, things like tolerance and what have you become okay, they are common, although they are speaking different languages. So that platform has been created. We have a common value system. If we have a common world view, how do we view the world? What is the center of our world? And also that has also been made here. For us here, really, the center of our world is God. Not so. I don't think there are atheists here in this country. Yeah? No, I have not heard of any. They are not here in Uganda. A few maybe, but I have not heard of. And if they are, they have not even come out to proclaim that they are atheists. Therefore, that is their right. They should be able to enjoy the fact that they don't believe in God, and they are there, godless, name it, or they are demonic or whatever. So that's another foundation, I think, which we have. Our worldview is God-centered. And everybody, regardless whether you are a practical believer, you may not go to the mosque on Friday, or to the church on Sunday. But wherever you are, I think you recognize God, that there's some big force up there looking at me and certainly controlling my ways. In my former work station, we used to interact with people who were making a lot of mistakes, crooks, criminals, thieves, and what have you. But they also, before they go out to kill somebody or drop that person, they pray to God. Say, God, help me that I carry out this mission. Can you believe it? They say, oh God, help me. I want to rob that bank, I want to rob that businessman, but please help me that at least I take his money and I take it comfortably. So it's God. It's God. So even those recognize God. The worldview we have is that God is at the center of this. And that's therefore a strong foundation. And then ideology. Ideology, we are formulating an ideology now for Uganda. Slowly, as it's coming. What's that ideology? Don't, go with this common view. When you talk of ideology, people rush, oh, that's communism, that's this. No. Ideology is really a controlling idea which you have as a group or as a nation. Controlling and governing your actions. They could be political, they could be religious, they could be economic. Yes, and this is known by everybody. We may go be very elaborate and create schools for this kind of thing, but it's a kind of idea which, okay, you find it in school, ideologies like Chankwanzi and so on. But it's an idea that percolates up to the home. Even if you don't go to Chankwanzi, but you know that while in Uganda, these are the do's and these are the don'ts. This is valuable, this is valueless. If I do this, then I risk shaming myself and so on. If I don't do this, then my conscience is going to be hurt. So right from the home and then right through the schools that we have, we can have an ideology. And this, as I'm saying, is forming slowly. From the disparate communities which we had in this part of the world, there was something called Ensonyi. Have you heard of that? Ensonyi or Ensoni. Shame. I cannot be seen to be saying this or that, or appearing like this. If I'm a good Ahmadiyya, I can't be seen, walking semi-naked and going to the mosque. That is Ensoni. It will create shame. That's a value system. It's also a kind of ideology. I have to do something that always brings respect. Whether I am not in my immediate community or not, whether I have gone out of Uganda and gone to Kenya or to Dubai,
I'll still remain with that ensonyi. I cannot do anything shameful just because I'm out of reach of the elders. No, I'll remain true, stick to what actually makes me. So these are there, they are coming today, and in Uganda, it's not strange now for us to talk about patriotism or nationalism. The love for our country, the love for each other. And this country called Uganda, which is brought in force by the British, it's there. And we people who are in there are now Ugandans, and we must love one another. Yes, we must work together as a group. We must therefore recognize that we may not be speaking one native language. There are many different languages, many dialects, but we are all Ugandans. We are on the Ugandan soil. We drink Ugandan water, and we are here, we interact with everybody within our borders, and that's important. And that we should identify or link up our destinies together. Yes, so wherever you are, if you move from Kampala and you go to Kapchorwa, you should not feel odd or feel a stranger just because you have moved out of a community into a new community or a different community of Sebei. You should not feel odd if you move from here to Kisoro, because you are still Ugandan. And in fact, when you begin interacting, because of this value system which is coming up, you feel there is no difference. There's nothing to worry about. And nobody is going to do you any harm just because you're a stranger. So this is beginning, and this is good. Now, the other one is a common economic system. A common economic system. I think this has now come out clearly. The other, in the 60s, were toying with the socialist economic system. You know, there was that movement of moving to the left, championed by the government at that time. We're moving to the left, we're going to have a socialist system, then probably we might become communists and so on, where everything is held in common and there's common property and we produce and so on. Now when you produce, you just take what you need at home, the rest is for the country. But now I think it's become clear that yes, we have embraced the capitalist approach and the mode of production, and that's it. Now, this one has challenges, but it has also the important aspect of bringing communities together and also of promoting peace. Yes, because if my community produces rice, like rice is produced in Busoga or now Gulu, and then everybody there is producing rice. But then this other community in Kampala is not able to produce, it needs rice for it to survive. So therefore, the community in Kampala must go out and look for the rice in Gulu and buy it, pay those people. The people of Gulu, because they are paid and they become rich and they are happy, they would want to associate very closely with the people of Kampala. And they therefore don't want anything to happen to the people of Kampala, to disrupt the peace and security in Kampala. Because if that happens, then there will be no rice. And that will mean hunger and serious problems. And when somebody is hungry, then the beast in that person comes out. Not so? If one is hungry, I can assure you, even a very pious religious person might behave Seriously, if there is very little food there, he might not say, no, oh God, guide me so that this food, for me I don't mind even if I don't eat, but let this little food be given to the other little girl. No. The beast in the person might come out and say, no, me first, and this girl, well, we shall look after her later. So, therefore, peace becomes very important. We cannot do certain activities which are going to disrupt the well-being and stability of the community we are dealing with economically. And I think today, this is becoming very, very, very important. Yes. And this is helping communities to get together, which communities were not interacting maybe in our time in the 60s, 50 years ago. Somebody in Kampala, what need did they have to deal with somebody in Gulu? Was it them? Or somebody in Gulu really thinking seriously about somebody in Kampala? Gulu was self-supporting. Kampala, it's okay. What do I have to know, whatever is going on? And indeed, people, especially people in Central, were so, what do we call it? Claustrophobic. It's around there. You ask somebody, have you been to Mukono? Mukono, oh, that's very far away. Why should I go to Mukono? But Mukono is not just a few 15 miles away from Kampala. And you don't know Mukono. You are now a grown-up person. You are 25, you are 30. You don't know Mukono. Well, there's no need. But today, you get people from Kampala as far as Eleko. Not so. And they are living there comfortably. And those from Eleko, they are here in Kampala, living comfortably and making networks and so on. So this is certainly something good and which must be promoted. Now, if we have a good, strong government which is based on very good principles, democratic principles, making sure recognizing people and really people-centered, then that's also another guarantee and a good foundation for peace. So we are moving, and of course all this is strengthened and oiled by the education that we have. Not only the formal education, but even the informal one. It's the informal one from the homes, where we get some of these, the values begin. What we now call Ubuntu. It begins in the home. And this is everywhere. It's not only among the Bantu speaking, it's everywhere in the community. So this system, if it's good and focuses on peace, that will be okay. I think we have to make special mention of the Ahmadiyya Association, because that mission, for them, they have made peace, I think, one of the cherished goals. Yes. And this has somehow even affected or modeled their outlook. You can see wherever you meet an Ahmadiyya, it is just peace, humility. Unlike other groups, which are very militant, you see somebody, even if he doesn't say anything, you say, hey, wait, this one now. This one, even if he's a religious person, he has not said anything, but the way he stands and the gait and the demeanor, you say, this one, yeah. And the way he looks at you, But look at an Ahmadiyya, peace, humility, because peace and humility is at the center, and they train for it. And if all people are like that, and of course there is tolerance, then there will be no problem to have a lot of peace, and will be as innocent as the children. You know, Jesus Christ said, let the children come to me. You see? Because they are innocent. They are not tainted by all these feelings of hatred, of dislike, and so on. And the child is always happy. Not so? Yeah, child is happy. And the child will take to a stranger because sees that person as a protector, somebody good. But these other people, you look at somebody and say, no, wait a minute. I think I'd better look at my left and right and then turn around back and see I may not be safe. So the theme, therefore, is important. And the theme championed by young people is good. What I would like to say, really, the young people, keep in that train. Keep in the train. We need peace. We need to work together. We need to have a common value system. And we need really to work together as a nation, as a team, so that we can push forward. If we are together, we work like that, then development will come, and we shall actually now build a very strong nation called Uganda, and we shall go along those principles of tolerance, of justice, of inclusivity, and therefore we shall definitely shun conflict, and we can together withstand any group that would like to create conflict and disruption in our midst. So with those remarks, really, once again, I would like to thank you for inviting me and for holding this symposium on peace. Please keep it up. There is nothing to lose. With peace, there is everything to gain. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the Honorable Minister for Public Service. When Reverend Canon Mwesje introduced you as the chief appointing officer in the country, the president of the youth noted it down. So one of these days you should expect a knock at your office and you won't be surprised. The Ahmadiyya boys and girls will have come for their share of the national cake. Thank you so much. Yeah. We still have a couple of guests just to recognize. On account of time, we may not have any more guest speakers. I want to thank you so much for those of us who have been able to share a word with our esteemed audience. We have a friend from a director, Nahawi Junior School, Ndeje, Sheikh Dawood Abusura Mahad. Wherever you are, you can say salam to the audience. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We also have another school director and as well a woman councillor for Sega Parish, Luwaga Division, and she's the director for Little Beatles Primary School, Madam Asia Nagudi. Wherever you are, you can say salam. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have Dr. Musa Mubiru, gynecologist from Kawempe Hospital and Gombe, and also Mbarara School of Science. Dr. Musa, wherever you are. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dr. John Baptist Rwanga, a lecturer from Bugema University, can say salam wherever you are. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We also have Haji Ukandwa, I've gotten one name, is a special presidential special presidential advisor. We also have Mr. Juko Gavin, IT Office, Ministry of Education. Wherever you are, Mr. Juko. I think he's moved out. Mr. Wanzala Silva is a psychiatrist from Stabika Hospital. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our esteemed ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take you through our structure as Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. Those of us who may not be knowing how the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community is structured. The supreme head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community in Uganda is referred to as the Amir, is the Chief Executive Officer, and is Sheikh Al-Haji Muhammad Ali Kaire. I will not request him to stand up, but he's going to come here to give us a keynote address. He's a top-notch scholar from one of the best universities in the world, Islamic universities in Pakistan. He has an experience of clerical work spanning over 40 years. He has engaged in interreligious debates. He has translated books. He speaks quite a number of international languages, including English, Arabic, Urdu, and Swahili. And that gives him a basis of explaining issues to whoever cares to listen. When the time comes, he will come to speak to us. He's the keynote speaker. He has 4 deputies, and his first deputy is Mr. Haruna Mubiru, a graduate of economics from Islamic University in Uganda, and a practicing economist. He's a businessman in Kampala. Mr. Haruna, I request you to say salam to the audience. That is the first deputy in the hierarchy of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Administration in Uganda. The second deputy is Dr. Musa Sechikubo. He is not only a medical doctor, but he has a doctorate in medicine, and he heads the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology in Makerere University. He's the second deputy chief officer of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community in Uganda. I request you to say salam to me. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The third deputy is Mr. Shaib Katongole, a businessman in Kampala. Shaib, can say salam to the audience. And the fourth deputy is Hajj Muhammad Kato, also a businessman in town. The Amir works with a number of people on his executive, serving the different departments. We cannot be in position to introduce all of them, but I want to request whoever is here on the national AMLI can stand up for recognition. A few members who are here who sit on the Chief Executive Committee, National Chief Executive Committee of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, please kindly stand up for recognition. They are serving in different departments. You can say salam. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community also has different sections leading different gender and age groups of people. Just like today you've heard, we have the Muslim youths, Ahmadiyya Muslim youths, that is the boys' side, but we also have the ladies' side. We have a lady who heads the Ahmadiyya ladies in Uganda. She also has a team that she works with. I request you to say salam to the audience, the president of the Women League, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community in Uganda. We also have the senior citizens of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, the men above 40 years. 40 years and above, they have a president who takes care of their organization and all other activities regarding them. Incidentally, one of the deputy presidents, the Amir, is still the president of the senior citizens of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. Hi Shaykh, I request you to say salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
barakatuh. And finally, we have a section of the youth. Our youths range from 15 years to 39. The moment you clock 40, you join the other group of the seniors. So they are headed by their president, who is the chief organizer of this symposium, and he has a team of people that is working with. He has a committee. Mr. Abdul Chwanka, like Canon Wesley said, is a senior laboratory technician working with Lancet Laboratories. He's a graduate from Mbarara University of Science and Technology. He has worked for quite some time and he has mastered that skill of the lab. He's the president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youths in Uganda. He is also a director in the Humanitarian First organization. He heads the department called Gift of Sight. Those of you who have interacted with Humanitarian First, you might be knowing what Gift of Sight does. It is at this very moment that I would like to invite him to come and say a word to our esteemed audience.
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan their cast. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the ever merciful, may the peace and blessings of the Almighty Allah be upon you all. By the immense grace of Allah, the Almighty, this evening, we are gathered here together on the occasion of the 11th version of this noble event. And it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you once again to this function. The Amir and missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, who is the father of our community, and it is through his continuous guidance that we are here. I take recognition of all the guests that have honored our invitation. And looking at the high table where I'm having the different reverends, the sheikhs, we are having scholars. This answering the true call of this Peace Symposium of 2025 that is bringing communities together for the cause of peace. We are here to dialogue, reflect upon how best we at the forefront of God's magnificent creation, how we can forge our way forward in bringing together all our communities, regardless of race, creed, for the cause of peace, as this evening's theme clearly elaborates, and with much more broader objective of establishing genuine peace on a global scale. For over 2 decades, our spiritual father, the Khalifa of Islam and the current global leader of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, His Holiness Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, the Fifth Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah strengthen his hand, has been urging governments, politicians, and all people to play their role in ensuring social cohesion of our individual societies and a wider peace and harmony of the world. Expressing his views on how to bring an end to all forms of warfare, whether conflicts fought falsely in the name of religion or those of geopolitical nature. Subsequently, as the true followers of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and the promised Messiah, may Allah be pleased with him, the Imam that we've accepted as the reformer of this age, we are duty-bound to follow suit in voicing out our spiritual father's message of peace to those within our reach. With an appeal for a joint towards not only the pressing need to end wars between and strive for peace wherever civil wars and internal disputes arise, because certainly history teaches us that due to such unjust laws, internal conflicts can easily give birth to regional tensions and eventually to global wars, as has been witnessed in nations close and far from our neighborhood, affecting global security and stability. We've seen this in Sudan, Syria, Iraq, Palestine, to mention but a few. Thus, as the followers of the true teachings of Islam, we are required not to waver in the pursuit of peace, but rather to always speak the truth, so that when held accountable before God Almighty, we can truthfully claim to have tried saving God's creation from destruction. And so, we humbly call upon every concerned individual to peacefully, truthfully, and courageously advocate for peace within our communities, as taught by our beloved Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad Mustafa. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. With these few remarks, on behalf of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Wing and the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community at large, I humbly and sincerely express our heartfelt gratitude to you all, our dear guests, for sparing us a portion of your ample time to honor our invitation and join us this evening. May Allah the Almighty richly bless all